Hi everyone! Today's video is going to be a fun one. I am going to weigh a giant tomato, which is here shrouded in secrecy under a piece of shade cloth. Not really, I actually just covered it to protect it from the squirrels and the rats who have been going through my tomatoes like crazy. And I showed the tomato on the live stream this past Monday, and many viewers said they would love to see me harvest it and weigh it. A lot of people guessed what the weight was, ranging anywhere from 13 ounces to a little above 2 pounds. So we're going to see who is closest today. Now, a little bit of history on this plant here in my garden anyway. The seeds were given to me by Cliff, our live stream moderator, and I almost pulled the plant out back in July. It was just not looking so good. It was yellowing, really just not thriving. And then I gave it a mid-season boost, and wow, did it really take off. I fed it fish fertilizer, good dirt plant food. I put some fresh Vermistera worm castings in the soil, and I gave it some of the Vermistera worm tea. It's growing here in a 20-gallon smart pot, and it just took off after that. So while we were gone for 2 weeks, it was looking great, came back, and to my surprise had a giant tomato on it. So it's really been thriving. Cliff's friend Dale, who has been a gardener for many, many years, an older gentleman, actually named the plant. The seeds were given to him by his friend Vincent Domingo, who sent the seeds to the US, and a lot of people started growing the tomato and having really good success with it. Well, Vincent passed away, and Dale named the seeds Domingo after his friend Vincent Domingo, who was so kind to share the seeds with him. So it goes back for generations. It does have a history, and it's really fun to be growing it in my garden today. We have had quite an issue with rats and squirrels, so one of my strategies this summer has been to cover my prized tomatoes either with the netting bags or with a piece of shade cloth until I have a chance to harvest them, and then harvest them just a little bit early, right when they start to turn, to prevent the squirrels and the rats from taking a bite, because they always seem to know exactly when it gets ripe. Oh my gosh, guys, these look incredible. There's actually two here. This one, I think, in my left hand is going to be the largest, but this one is looking pretty good too. These tomatoes look absolutely fantastic. There is not a rat or a squirrel scratch on them, so I'm so excited about this. Now, one reason why tomatoes do so well in the smart pots is because the fabric is aerated. Now, if you normally grew a tomato this size in a 20-gallon container, like a hard-sided container, it wouldn't have the aerated fabric to allow oxygen to get to the roots. And then a lot of times what happens is the plants get root bound and the roots circle around and they're not able to take up the air and nutrients that they need. Not a problem in the smart pots. The fabric is very durable, it's breathable, and it obviously did the trick for this tomato. The roots air prune, so they form a nice fibrous mass, and they're still able to take up the nutrients that they need. It definitely worked for this plant. So I'm going to go ahead and harvest these two, and then we're going to throw them on the scales and see how much they weigh. I'll take this one first. Now, like I mentioned, I realize that these are not quite ripe, but they will ripen up nicely indoors, either on the countertop, or if you have a really green tomato, what you can do is put it in a paper bag and even stick like a green banana in that paper bag. The ethylene gas helps the tomato ripen up indoors. So it's a good little trick if you're expecting frost and your tomatoes aren't quite ripe yet. Before we weigh these beautiful Domingos, I wanted to read a couple of the weigh-off guesses from the live stream on Monday. And if you don't watch my live streams, you definitely want to. I live stream every Monday here on YouTube at noon Pacific time, and I always announce a live stream topic on Instagram every Monday morning. So make sure you join me. It's a lot of fun. We have a ton of fun in the chat. There's lots of gardeners from all over the world offering tips, tricks, and all kinds of gardening support. It's really a fun time. So our first guess was from Cliff Warren, our live stream moderator, the donator of the seeds here. He guessed 1 pound, 2 ounces. Nisha, our other moderator, guessed 1 pound, 9 ounces. We have Melissa, 1 pound, 8 ounces. Nellie, 1 pound, 7 ounces. Jill, 3 pounds. Wow, Jill, you have a lot of faith in me. Jackie, 2 pounds, and lots of other 1 pound guesses. I think the lowest guess is Jennifer at 13 ounces. So I'm excited to see how much these tomatoes actually weigh. I'm going to weigh them on my postal scale here from my seed shop. It's set to 0. And then after we do the weighing, what I decided to do is do a little taste test. Got my tomato knife and my salt. You gotta have the salt, so make sure you stay tuned for that too. All right, specimen number 1. This is the tomato that's almost completely green. A little bit of blush here. Let's see how much this one weighs. Okay, here we go, guys. You ready for this? Okay, tomato number 1 weighs in at 14.3 ounces, almost 1 pound. That is absolutely crazy. And I think the closest person to that guess would be Angela. She guessed 14 ounces. Congratulations, Angela. The second specimen here, which is definitely a little bit larger than specimen number 1, is definitely going to weigh a little bit more. So our scale is reset to 0. This one weighs 1 pound, 2.3 ounces. That is fabulous. And I'm going to say, Cliff, you're the winner on this one. You are right on. The experienced tomato grower that you are guessed 1 pound, 2 ounces. Way to go, Cliff. Well, congratulations to Angela and Cliff for guessing how much the Domingo tomatoes weighed. Give me an email at callikim@callikimgardenandhome.com and I'll send you a prize for your good guesses. Way to go. So let's dig into this beautiful Domingo number 2. Now I'm using a tomato knife to cut it. This is kind of a cool little knife. It's got a sharp little point on the end so that you can cut around the core here. So I'm just going to cut the core out. So a few little slices off the end. Oh my gosh, this is such a meaty tomato. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Now granted, it's not all the way ripe, but you guys can see that. It has nice little large cavities there. Super, super meaty, not tons of juice. Be a great slicing tomato for sandwiches, burgers, just about anything you want. All right, here we go. The taste test. Wow. That is a great flavor. It's not too acidic. It's kind of sweet. Very, very meaty. Lots and lots of substance to this tomato. I think it's going to be great in my pico de gallo. Absolutely delicious. Let's try one more piece with a little bit of salt. Oh wow, that takes the flavor over the top. Thank you so much for coming along with me on my giant tomato harvest and weigh off. Hope you're growing lots of tomatoes in your garden. If you're coming to the end of your gardening season, make sure that you get your fall garden planted or your indoor garden planted. Head over to callikimgardenandhome.com. Check out my seed shop. And while you're over there, grab yourself some of my Callikim 5-gallon containers. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you on the next video.